In this episode, we explore Lake Superior Provincial Park, and then we go to Pancake Bay Provincial Park. From there, we did a day trip to Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, and then, after spending a total of 4 nights at Pancake Bay, we went to Chutes Provincial Park near Massey, Ontario.
Hello.
Hello, we are at Chutes Provincial Park. You'll be able to see the falls just over Doug's shoulder.
There.
It is September the 6th, and we've been here one night, so 1.5 days.
Got here yesterday.
Got here yesterday afternoon.
Another gorgeous day. Look at that sky. Blue in all directions.
So we realized, I think the last vlog we did, it was our first day at Lake Superior Provincial Park, so we have left there and went to Pancake Bay, and then now at Chutes.
Yes.
So I thought we would maybe do a little bit of a talk about Lake Superior and how we liked it there. I think our site was not right on the water, but kind of in one road from the water. So it was a really short walk, but the weather at Lake Superior wasn't the best when we were there. It was pretty breezy, so first day was great, so that was the last video we did, and after that the weather just got windier.
Yes, it was quite windy, like 8-foot waves bashing in on the beach. Pretty cool to watch. And over at the end of the beach it was rocks, so they were hitting the rocks and then splashing up maybe 20 feet in the air, so that was neat. I think we might have a splash coming. There's a pretty good wave coming in here. Yeah! That's the way. And maybe another. That's easy 20 feet above the surface of the lake.
Yeah, so we got quite a few pictures of that. Walked the beach with hats on.
As in toques, not sun hats.
Toques on, and it was pretty cold, so we still walked the beach a couple times, and what else did we do there? We went to the Cooks.
No, that was at Maze. Yeah, I forget what else we did at Lake Superior. I think we actually did a bit of reading. It was so windy, we had to bring in the awning and the mats and everything, because it was quite breezy. And I don't remember what else we did there. I was thinking the pictographs, but that was over at Pancake Bay. Wrong. Okay, this is why we have to do these videos, because clearly, even after barely a week, we can't remember what we did or where we did it. The pictographs were actually only about a 10-minute drive back from our campsite. When you got there, they had a sign warning that it could be very slippery and you had to be quite careful. And they weren't kidding. Walking out there, I felt like it was quite dangerous, so I saw a couple of the pictographs, but I didn't see all of them. I just wasn't going that far.
So it was a nice part of the beach. It was rocky though, so walking wasn't great.
Now it's strange. The first day we got there, when it was nice and beautiful and we walked the beach, it was all gravel, like up to 2-3 inch rocks along the shore, and behind that was sand. So we just stayed behind that and walked on the sand, and that was nice. Then the next day, when the 8-foot waves were bashing in on the shore, it was all sand. It took all those rocks and they were out in the water, I guess. I don't know where they went. They weren't farther up the beach, they were gone, so it was sand. Then the next day the wind just changed directions a bit, and then it was all rocks on the shore again. So pretty cool how it takes some pretty good sized, a lot, like millions of stones, gets rid of them, puts them back.
I think at that part too, I hurt my rib when we first got there.
That's right.
So I wasn't able to do a whole lot. I feel like I did some hiking there, but I'm not really sure. Anyway, so that was that. It was a nice park.
It's a blur.
Long beach, lots of rocks. We're finding we're mixing things up really quickly, forgetting about parks, forgetting about what it was like wherever.
So what was that when we did that?
Good thing we have the vlogs, good thing we have my journal, good thing we have some pictures, so between it we can hopefully make a little booklet to remind ourselves.
It gets hard to keep track of. We're currently in our 13th park in the last 5 weeks, which, we don't just stay a night and leave, but still, over the course of 5 weeks, we've been to 13 different parks, and it's hard to remember all the things we've done. It's been a lot of pretty cool experiences.
So after Lake Superior, we went to Pancake Bay.
Yes.
And that's where we just came from, so it's fresher in our mind. But,
And we love Pancake Bay.
Loved that place, yeah. And the beach was long. And
By long,
it wasn't
3.5 kilometers of sand.
It wasn't rocky, so we walked that quite a few times, and the weather was beautiful, so we were able to walk a lot. We went over to, just down the road, there's another bay, a big park called Manitoulan
Bay Provincial Park. It's just a day use.
Yeah,
Another beach.
we walked that beach, and it wasn't as nice as Pancake Bay, but
Still nice. Not as nice, but it was still sandy, and it was a nice
it
walk.
was a bit more driftwood, a little bit more rocky, but it was still a nice walk.
And narrow.
And narrower, but so Pancake Bay, also Pancake Bay, we were right. There was a road, our campsite, a road, and then right there was the beach. So we spent most of our evenings, around 4 or 5 o'clock.
Until
Drinking a snack on the
almost
beach,
sundown.
and didn't want to come in to have dinner until probably like close to the sun coming down. As soon as the sun went down,
We got cool.
so
We were up on Lake Superior, so once the sun went down, it got chilly.
we went to Sault Ste. Marie. We went over into the U.S. and saw the locks over there
In Sault Ste. Marie,
in Sault Ste. Marie, U.S.
Michigan.
Michigan. And it was that was very interesting. It was sort of like a military facility base or something. You had to be searched before you could go in. There was
The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers runs the lock, so it's a military installation or whatever.
So there was fences as far as you could see with the spikes on the top and whatever. So, but we managed to go in there and see the locks. We saw some pleasure boat or some tour boats come in for one lock, and the far lock was for the ships, and we were lucky enough to be able to see a
Decent sized 550-foot ship. I guess it was heading for England.
Yep.
It had been up to Duluth to get a load of iron ore probably, and then making its way over to England to drop it off and probably come back and get another load.
It was a little anticlimactic. It cut it in at a painfully slow speed to the lock, so it took forever. We were hungry. We kind of had to wait lunch till later so we could see it, and it's like,
I thought it would be busier. I actually thought they might be kind of lined up one after the other, but it was like one ship had just left the lock just before we got there. We actually saw it heading down the river, and the next ship was going to be in a couple of hours, and so we walked around and then decided that we didn't have time to eat. We better watch the ship come into the lock and then eat. So then we found this nice patio up on the roof of a little microbrewery, so we sat up there and had our lunch, and we were able to watch the ship as it headed on down the river after it left the lock, so that was kind of cool.
yeah. And then we went back, so we went and saw the lock over in Canada, and it was quite nice too. It used to be a lot bigger, and then now it's shorter, and
Just for pleasure boats.
and it's a historic site. The lady there was really helpful. I was really impressed that I knew so much about the lock.
I read a book about it.
You read a book.
How boring was that?
Got a T-shirt there.
Yeah.
And we walked around, and it was, of course, beautiful on our side, like it was like a park.
It's run by the same Parks Canada that runs the Trent Severn Waterway and the Rideau, so it's
nice.
similar, nice mowed lawns and no security checks. Just walk on up and have a look around.
So then we went in, and then we went to Walmart at the Sioux to get some groceries and stuff, and drove down the waterfront, and they have a nice bike path that goes all the way along there, which another
Along
time,
the St. Mary's River.
if we ever got there again, we would probably do that bike ride, but we were running out of time. It was just too much to
We
do.
had to get back to Pancake Bay so we could sit on the beach.
Yeah, and we sit on the beach. And at Pancake Bay, we did walk out to that lookout so that we could get a nice panoramic picture of Pancake Bay, and remember where that guy told me to get onto the platform and not stand where I was.
Yes, that was at Pancake.
So yeah,
Yes, at Pancake Bay they have the Edmund Fitzgerald lookout. So
That's
you drive just a mile or so up the road to a park and then into a parking lot, and then hike. I forget, that was 6K or something like that, up to a lookout over Lake Superior, and they have information boards explaining about how the Edmund Fitzgerald and various other ships, a lot of ships have sunk out here. It's kind of the longest open Lake Superior for winds out of the northwest, which I guess is the bad storm direction, and they get just about to Pancake Bay and then they sink because that's when the waves are the biggest. And they're almost to safety, but not quite. They don't actually go into Pancake Bay, they just go in front of it. But, yes. So the Edmund Fitzgerald sank out from Pancake Bay Provincial Park, and we saw what they were.
We also went kayaking at Pancake Bay and Lake Superior got stormed out wet. Waves weren't terrible, but when you try and get into shore with a kayak, they're worse than you think. So
I was stepping out of my kayak into the water, which I thought was only like 6 inches deep, but as I was kind of stepping in, the wave kind of moved things, so when I stepped it was more like 2 feet deep, and so I went over backwards into the water with my phone in my pocket.
Yeah, either one of us did it very eloquently, so anyway. But we found there was a Pancake River.
Yes.
And we paddled up that. It doesn't go terribly far, but we went up there and
up as far as we could.
yeah.
And then we found a nice sand spit and we laid there in the sun for a little bit because Lisa's sore rib was bothering her, so we took a little break.
Right.
That's when I fell out of my kayak, was going ashore to take a break.
Yeah, and then when we were done, we were covered in sand, so we didn't have a towel on or anything, and so then I had to go into the water to get the sand off me.
So Lisa actually got in Lake Superior without
Yeah, and it was
ton
cold.
of crying and screaming and moaning.
A bit of crying and screaming, but
You did say, I can't do this, I can't do this. I said, you have to do this. You're covered in sand.
yeah. And then he wanted me to stay in the water long enough that he could rub the sand off me, or I could, and that seemed too long to me. It was very cold, so. Anyway, I got the sand off.
I think I've been swimming maybe 4 times in Lake Superior on this trip.
Yeah.
Once kind of.
I've been,
Not really
so I swam in Lake Superior, I swam in Erie, I'm in Ontario, so.
Someday we'll swim in Lake Michigan.
Yes, yeah, someday we'll go to Michigan and swim there. So I think that's about it for Pancake Bay. We got up we decided it was the Monday of the long weekend, so we'd get up early. We set our alarm for like 6:30.
We wanted to beat the rush for the dump station and the traffic.
Turns out neither was really a problem, but maybe because and it was so cold when we got up.
Oh, it was like 7. I could see my breath while we were doing the dump
So I'm
station.
not sure how great of a plan that was. But
I think it was a good plan.
we got here at noon, which was good, and then we rode into Macy, which is
I think it's Massey.
Massey. So,
M-A-S-S-E-Y.
so the park starts where the town ends. It's just a small town. So we rode our bikes around through there, did some hiking around here a little bit, and then
There's the waterfall's right over our shoulder, and yes, the reason it's called Chutes Provincial Park was because back in the 1800s there was a log chute to get the logs past this waterfall, and that's what they named the park after. But then farther up this river, the Sables River, which drains into the Spanish River just down the way a bit, which drains out into the North Channel of Lake Huron. So just up the way here, there's a bunch of rapids, and it's called the Seven Sisters Rapids in the trail, and that was a
we did that this morning.
nice walk.
We went a 7K walk. We did that. And there's quite a few different spots where the rapids, rivers, falls, and rapids. And took some good pictures.
Yeah.
And we went kayaking. And
After lunch,
we went into town, and then we kayaked up
the Sables River as far as Highway 17, and that's where the first rapids were. So it was a really nice river, not too wide, not too strong for a nice bottom.
Really nice day too.
Oh, and it's absolutely gorgeous.
We're still covered in suits on.
Hard to believe this is September and we're somewhat north. We're actually, this is the farthest south we've been since we left home. Our first night on the way north was farther north than we are now, so we're getting closer down to south again.
We're at Martin River, and it's more north than this is, so I guess that's why it's been a little bit longer.
And right now where we're sitting, you can't tell from this video view, but maybe I should let you see that. We're on a little, so obviously there's the falls behind us, and then below the falls is kind of a pool with a little sand island right in the middle of this pool, and then it goes on down the way towards the Spanish River. And so we waded out, it's just a little over knee deep to wade from shore out to this island. So we're the only people on it. It's only about 40 feet maybe across, maybe 40 feet or so, circle of sand in the middle of a pond below a waterfall. So it's a really cool spot. So we've been sitting here. I had my lemonade, we said water. I know you usually have a rye, but we got to give the liver a break once in a while. I think that's the 4th break it's had in 5 weeks.
So this is, last night we decided that it wasn't enough to keep us busy here for the 4 nights we had planned. One of the days we were going to go over to Manitoulan Island, so in our genius we decided that we would see if we could find a campground camp out on Manitoulan Island instead, cancel our last 2 nights here and go there for 2 nights. So that's what we've done. So tomorrow morning we'll get up and, not at 6:30 I'm sure, but head to Manitoulan Island, which is only an hour drive, and we go to
Batman's Cottages and Campground.
So
we have a waterfront site.
So we'll see what Manitoulan Island has to offer. And the idea is if we really like it, I mean, it's a big island, and it's and not just that island, but all the islands around it. If it's worthy of a trip up in the summer or some other time to really tour it more, and also then just to spread it out for when the houseboat's done and we're going to boat. So that's what we're doing, and then from there we go to Grundy, and that's our last campground, and we're going home. So
that'll make 15 campgrounds, 6 weeks, and back to reality.
time to go home.
Yep. It's been a great holiday. I think we really lucked out in the weather, which helps make it a great holiday.
We had not used, the one day we could have probably used boots, but we did put our Chutes on. They're quite good.
As much as anything was the wind.
It was just the wind.
It was cool.
We haven't had our winter gear out, which we did bring winter stuff.
We brought winter coats and mitts and everything. We haven't needed any of that.
No.
No, that day I think it was maybe 16 or 17, but 50 kilometer an hour winds in my ears.
Blowing off
Don't like the wind.
right into your even my ears.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Lake Superior's, 40 degrees Fahrenheit. What's that? 4 or something Celsius. So the wind blowing in, it was chilly. No, it's been, and yeah, this is, and tomorrow's supposed to be the same, I think. And yesterday was about the same too. This is incredible. This is September.
Yeah, this is nice.
I'll take it. Thank you.
Probably some of the nicest weather we've had so far.
Yes. Well, I think we're caught up.
We're all caught up.
Alrighty. We'll see you in a few more days or whenever we get around to the final segment installment.